Ever felt like you're playing a game where the rules are rigged? You're told to play fair, share your toys, and wait your turn. The promise is that if you're good, life will be good to you. But what if that's the biggest lie you've ever been told? What if the very idea of fairness is a cage? An invisible prison designed to keep you obedient, passive, and waiting for a reward that never comes. Think about it. Who wrote the rules? It wasn't you. The rules were written by those who were already winning. They preach fairness to the masses while they operate in the shadows, bending every law and every standard to their advantage. They tell you to be patient while they hoard power and resources. The hypocrisy isn't hidden in some secret vault. It's right in front of you, every single day. You see it in the news, in the workplace, even in politics. And yet, so many people still cling to this fantasy, this bedtime story that one day justice will magically appear. History screams a different truth. Power listens only to power. When a strong nation wants something, do the cries for fairness from a weaker one stop them? Treaties and international laws become mere suggestions. If fairness was the guiding principle of our world, empires wouldn't be built on conquest, and corruption wouldn't be a global business. The very existence of war and inequality is the ultimate proof that fairness is a dream for the naive. This isn't just about nations, it's personal. Look at the corporate world. The loyal employee works tirelessly, believing their dedication will be noticed. But who gets the promotion? Not always the most deserving, but often the most strategic, the one who knows how to play the game. The honest business owner who plays by the book gets crushed by the competitor who uses every trick and loophole to get ahead. In this arena, those who cling to fairness often starve, while those who understand the real game feast. It even bleeds into our relationships. We expect fairness in love, in loyalty, and effort. We give our all and expect the same in return. But how many have been left heartbroken, betrayed by someone who simply followed their own desires? The common response is to cry out, "It's not fair." But that cry changes nothing. The strong don't waste energy on that. They accept the painful reality, learn from it, and move forward with colder eyes and sharper instincts. Centuries ago, Machiavelli warned us about this. He wrote that a leader who insists on being good and fair in a world full of people who are not will inevitably be destroyed. This isn't a celebration of cruelty. It's a manual for survival. Survival demands clarity, not illusion. Imagine two armies on a battlefield. One fights with noble, predictable rules of honor. The other uses ambush, deception, and pure ruthlessness. Who do you think wins? Honor looks great on a tombstone, but victory belongs to the strategist. So why are we constantly told to be nice, to wait our turn? Because it serves the powerful. An obedient, predictable population is easy to control. A population that believes in the eventual triumph of fairness will never rise up to challenge the system. They'll just wait. But the moment you see through the illusion, the moment you realize fairness is just a set of chains, you become dangerous. A dangerous person doesn't wait for permission. They don't beg for their share. They don't cry about injustice. They watch, they calculate, and they act. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time being fair or waiting your turn actually got you what you wanted? Every single victory you've ever had, big or small, came because you took action. It didn't come because life handed it to you on a silver platter. The weak will keep complaining online, shouting into the void that life is unfair. But the wolf doesn't care about the noise the sheep make. The wolf is silent, focused. It doesn't apologize for its hunger. It takes what it needs to survive. And here's another hard truth. People may fear the wolf, but they secretly respect its strength. Weakness gets you pity. Strength commands respect. Which one do you want? This dark Machiavellian reality isn't a curse, it's a weapon. Once you stop begging for fairness and harden yourself to the cold, hard truth, you become untouchable. You're no longer waiting for a savior or expecting life to balance the scales. You seize control. That is true power. That is true freedom. So the next time you're tempted to say, "It's not fair," stop. Replace that thought with a question, how can I use this to my advantage? How does this make me stronger? Every unfair situation is an opportunity to grow sharper, colder, and more unshakable. The weak hope for a fair world. The strong accept that it will never be, and that very acceptance is what allows them to rise. It's what transforms a sheep into a wolf, a pawn into a king. Fairness will not save you. Stop waiting for it. The world belongs to those who stop crying and start conquering. This is the reality. If you have the courage to accept it, weakness will no longer define you. You will no longer be the prey. You will be the predator. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And for more truths that challenge the way you see the world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Fairness, it's a beautiful word, isn't it? We're raised to believe in it, to think that life should be fair, that justice will eventually find us if we just wait long enough. We believe morality will be our reward, but look around you. Look at history, it whispers a much darker truth. The powerful don't wait for fairness. They create their own advantages. They bend the rules, they rewrite the laws, and they conquer those who are too naive to see that fairness is just a story told to pacify the weak. When you beg for fairness, you are handing your power to someone else. You're admitting that you aren't strong enough to shape your own destiny. You're saying you're willing to accept chains as long as everyone else's chains look the same as yours. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He watched princes rise and fall, not because of fairness, but because of strategy. He warned that a ruler who chases fairness will be crushed by rivals who chase power. And that same truth applies to you right now, today. In the modern world, people still cry for fairness in their jobs, in relationships, in politics. They shout that life is unfair, and you know what? They're right. But they miss the next step. Life is unfair by design. It's not a bug, it's the system. It is the very mechanism of survival. Those who adapt, who embrace the imbalance, who seize their advantage, they are the ones who thrive. Those who wait for fairness, they die waiting. Every moment you spend complaining that life isn't fair is wasted energy. That energy could have been used to make yourself stronger, sharper, more cunning. Think of a wolf among sheep. The sheep bleat endlessly for fairness, praying the wolf will eat less, hoping the shepherd will intervene. But the wolf doesn't listen. The wolf takes what it needs because it understands that fairness is a weakness. Fairness is a sheep's dream. Power is a wolf's reality. Which one will you be? Stop asking the world to treat you kindly. The world isn't kind. Stop expecting others to hand you opportunities. They won't. People guard opportunities like treasure, and only the bold dare to take them. Stop believing that morality alone will save you. Morality is often just a mask that power wears. A person who talks endlessly about fairness is either powerless or lying. The one who truly holds power never even mentions fairness because they don't need to. They dictate the terms. Consider the great empires of the past. Did Rome beg for fairness from its enemies? No, it crushed them. The great rulers of history weren't loved because they were fair. They were feared because they were strong. Even today, the companies that dominate the market don't play fair. They win because they outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast their rivals. Nations don't play fair either. They spy, they manipulate, they exploit weakness. Do you think they rise to greatness by waiting for their turn? No, they take what others are too timid to seize. And yet, so many people continue to believe in this illusion. They hope someone will rescue them. They hope fairness will arrive like a savior, but every day you wait, you become weaker. Every day you complain, you are broadcasting to the world that you are prey. And the predators are always listening. When you show weakness, when you admit your dependence on fairness, you invite domination. The wolf doesn't pity the sheep that cries the loudest. It eats it. If you want power, you must discard this childish idea of fairness. Replace it with strength, with cunning, and with adaptability. Don't ask for equality of outcome. Create superiority of outcome. Don't hope for justice. Create leverage. When someone wrongs you, don't waste time begging for an apology. Strike back with intelligence. Make yourself so untouchable, so resourceful, that fairness becomes completely irrelevant. Understand this. People respect advantage, not fairness. People admire victory, not complaints. History forgets the weak who begged for justice. It remembers the strong who carve their own destiny. And here's the darkest truth of Machiavelli's world: people secretly despise those who complain about fairness. They might nod along, they might pretend to sympathize, but deep down they see you as weak. They see you as someone who can't survive the chaos of the world, and nobody follows weakness. Nobody gives their loyalty to the powerless. Strength, on the other hand, is magnetic. When you stop complaining and start moving with ruthless clarity, people notice. They might hate you, but they will respect you. They might envy you, but they cannot ignore you. That is the essence of power. Power isn't about being liked. It's not about being fair. Power is about creating results that no one can deny. Machiavelli famously warned rulers that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Apply this lesson to your own life. Don't waste your breath asking for fairness from your boss, from the government, from society. They will not give it to you. Instead, learn how to move in silence. Learn how to manage appearances, how to make alliances that serve you, and how to cut away anything and anyone that makes you weak. The world belongs to those who act, not those who complain. The weak beg, the strong build, the weak cry. The strong calculate, the weak dream of fairness. The strong take advantage of the chaos. This is the cold, hard reality that Machiavelli understood. If you want to rise above, if you want to command respect, if you want real power, then stop begging for fairness. Stop announcing your weakness to the world. Stop waiting for someone to hand you justice. Instead, become untouchable. Become dangerous. Become someone who no longer needs fairness because you have built a strength so great that no one dares deny you. Fairness is a story for children. Power is the truth of adults. Stop clinging to illusions. Step into reality. The strong don't ask, they take. The strong don't complain, they act. And until you embrace this dark reality, you will remain weak, forever hoping, forever waiting, forever prey in a world full of predators. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more truths they don't want you to hear. Stay strong. Imagine a beggar huddled outside the palace gates, screaming for fairness. He wants bread, justice, someone to see his suffering. He shouts, but his voice is swallowed by the noise of the world. Nobles pass by, soldiers ignore him, the king never even knows his name. Why? Because begging for fairness is begging for scraps from the table of power. And power never, ever bends to begging. Power only respects force, cunning, and leverage. The irony is, when that same beggar finally decides to rise, when he sharpens his mind, when he stops asking and starts taking, only then does he change his fate. Until that moment, he's invisible, just another forgotten voice. This world has always been ruled by wolves, not by sheep. Sheep gather in herds, bleating about equality, praying for a shepherd to protect them. But the wolf never respects the herd. The wolf respects its own hunger, its own strength, its own willingness to fight tooth and claw for what it wants. The idea of fairness is a comforting lullaby for the sheep, but that comfort is a slow poison. It makes you weak, it blinds you to the harsh reality of teeth and blood. Machiavelli would tell you straight up, don't waste your breath hoping the wolf will suddenly become a vegetarian. It won't. The only winning move is to become a wolf yourself. This isn't about being cruel for cruelty's sake. It's about strategy. It's about understanding a fundamental truth. Fairness is not a law of nature. A lion doesn't share its kill fairly with the hyenas. A hurricane doesn't choose its path based on what's fair. Disease doesn't spread fairly. If nature itself couldn't care less about fairness, why do you cling to it like a holy relic? Those who hold power have always understood this. They build systems not to be fair, but to secure their control. Kings created laws not to ensure justice for all, but to maintain order that benefited them. Corporations write policies not to protect you, but to protect themselves. Politicians preach equality while secretly hoarding privilege for their inner circle. Fairness is the mask power wears to keep you calm and obedient. Once you see this, once you truly understand it, you can't be fooled anymore. You stop being pacified. You start asking the real questions. Where's the leverage here? Where's my advantage? How can I move while everyone else is distracted by the illusion of fairness? The person who begs for fairness is shouting, I am powerless. Please, someone help me. The person who understands power says, I will find a way, with or without your permission. That single shift in mindset is the difference between being a victim and being a strategist. Think about it. History is littered with the forgotten names of those who begged for fairness. Do you know any of them? Of course not. They were erased, ignored, and buried. But we all remember the conquerors, the rulers, the titans who imposed their will on the world. Julius Caesar, Napoleon, the great kings and queens, they weren't remembered for being fair. They were remembered because they seized control. They dared to act while others just waited and hoped. So ask yourself honestly, do you want to be remembered as someone who pleaded for fairness or as someone who forced reality to bend to their strength? If you beg, you disappear. If you act, you leave a mark. Stop expecting people to treat you fairly in business. They will take advantage of your weakness the second they spot it. Stop expecting your kindness in relationships to be returned fairly. People will exploit what you give too freely. And stop thinking governments will treat you fairly. You're a number, a resource, a pawn on their board. The only path to genuine dignity is to stop demanding it from others and start building your own fortress of strength, so no one dares to treat you as disposable. Machiavelli's dark lesson is this: the world is a chessboard. Pieces aren't moved by fairness. They're moved by strategy. Pawns who wait for fairness are the first to be sacrificed. But the pawn that adapts, that advances relentlessly, that never stops pushing forward, that pawn can become a queen. That's the game, and life is no different. When you say life is unfair, you're stating the obvious. But if you stop there, you're embracing weakness. The powerful next sentence is, life is unfair. And I will use that to my advantage. That's where strength is born. You don't fight a storm by begging it to be fair. You build a stronger shelter or learn to ride the wind. You don't demand the ocean be fair, you build a better ship. Relying on fairness makes you dependent. It forces you to surrender control of your life to others. Building your own strength makes you independent. It puts you in command. That is the fundamental difference between prey and predator, between the forgotten and the remembered. So I'll ask you one last time. Will you continue to live as a sheep, waiting for a shepherd of fairness who is never going to come? Or will you finally awaken the wolf inside you, ready to hunt, ready to take, ready to write your own destiny? The choice has always been yours. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and join us.